Today I'm here to talk about being sober. I've been sober for 230 days. Today I'm going to talk about my sobriety journey. Nothing crazy over here, just kind of like pros and cons, what I've been kind of dealing with, how I kind of handle every single day. Nothing too crazy about sobriety, honestly. It's very boring. It's very consistent, and it's all the same, and it all kind of feels bland. I'll just say this. The past 10 years, 10 plus years, I have been drinking almost every day. And if I do take a break, it's no more than like a week or anything like that. So taking this serious journey into sobriety is something I was actually trying to do for the past, 3 to 5 years. I just didn't realize that I needed to cut a lot of people out of my life in order to go do it. So it seems like I had to, at the very least, do this by myself. Not that I didn't have support. I had plenty of support, but in those very tough times, you have to really know yourself and know what you can handle, who you can be around, what triggers you into, consistently drinking and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I had to cut some people that I loved, which is okay. This journey is about me. But anyway, so nothing too crazy. A lot of pros, a lot of cons. There's a lot of things I've definitely learned. In the beginning, it was pretty rough. So at the beginning of 2025, I started my journey. I made that very cliche, new year, new me. But this time I actually took it very serious. And now we're a little over halfway through August. And now I've been sober this entire time, which is amazing. It's the most consistent period of time I've been sober since I was probably like 18, which is insane when you really think about it like that. A lot of people do start drinking when they're younger, or at least younger than 21, with high school and peer pressure and stuff like that. So I definitely started way younger than 21. By the time I was 21, I was like, I consider myself like a pro at drinking. Like I could chug a beer immediately. But yeah, so a couple things that helped me out is I went to the gym. Plain and simple, just like that. I went to the gym every single day. Every time I felt like I needed to get that itch out, or like I was under pressure and I needed that getaway feeling of a drink, I would go hit the gym. And I did not do that alone. I had 2 friends really push me for the first 4 months. At the beginning of this year, I started at 265 pounds. I'm now down to 220 pounds because of it. So cutting the alcohol, hitting the gym consistently, and staying focused on your goals will definitely help you with stuff like that. So as a byproduct of being sober, I did lose a ton of weight. I like drinking beer, so beer is carbs is fat. You drink that consistently more than you exercise, you're just going to gain all the weight. And it has not been an easy journey. So losing this weight has not been easy. I started taking up running, which I understand there's a huge discord on if running even helps you lose weight. And all I have to say to that is just count your calories, and go lift some weights. Make sure you gain some muscle, just let the muscles burn the fat for you, basically. So build muscle, run a little bit, be social, and have a good time. I will say one thing: my social life has completely tanked, and I've been alone before in my life, but I've never felt lonelier. than when I took this trip to sobriety, mainly because it's not that you don't have support. Like, you have so many people, you attract people into your life, but there's something about being so determined and dedicated to your goals that you don't really feel like you need anyone in your life. And that need for having people in your life is completely gone for me. Like, it's completely gone. I'm very, like, now to the surface. Everything's surface level for me now. Conversations, emotions, what we do, it doesn't get crazy. It doesn't get deep. It doesn't do any of that stuff for me, which is, I'm actually okay with it, and I actually prefer it that way. I prefer not to have anyone close to me, mainly because there's sacrifice involved when you're this dedicated to your goals, and you kind of just don't want to hurt anyone. Like, I just had to work 20 days straight, and that was just a byproduct of me reaching my goals. And obviously, you work that much, you can't really sustain relationships, friendships, and stuff like that. So it's not for the weak. And if you can't be alone, I recommend that you find people that are on this type of journey with you, to kind of give you advice and give you that push, maybe that a little bit of the dialogue that you need to kind of get you through the day. Another thing with sobriety, so being sober has definitely opened my eyes to what life kind of feels like. You start counting your days a little more. You kind of make every single day count. I have more time in my days now. My mornings, I've never been a morning person, but now I can actually get up in the mornings and not feel like, oh, like my life is miserable. I suffered with depression for a very long time, and drinking while being depressed, drinking depressants don't help you out so much. So go figure, my depression kind of went away as soon as I got sober. It didn't go away necessarily, but it's very manageable now. I don't spiral. I don't make irrational decisions. Everything is kind of like a well thought out process, and in my head, might not feel like this for everyone else, but everything feels like a tactical decision as to why I'm doing this. There's always purpose behind what I'm doing, whether that's speaking to a certain person, or putting in X amount of hours at work, or on my free time I'm making videos or taking up a hobby, basically. There's so much more free time, and people really don't understand that drinking takes up so much of your time. You don't really realize it, that you become like a gear in this mechanical beast that just like keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. And like, the weekend comes around and you're just kind of like, oh, I need a drink. Oh, I have such a week. Oh, I did this. Like, and you kind of see it as a reward system, because you get to cut loose, and that feeling of like tension is kind of gone. And I just don't see that being a solution in my life anymore, because of this journey. So anytime I feel like any tension, I kind of sleep on it now. So like, I'll sleep on things. I will go to the gym. If something is stressing this bee better not come near me. If something is stressing me out to the point where I feel that much stress and tension, I've learned how to speak things out now. So no emotion is too small for me now. Even if it's a very vulnerable emotion, it's necessary to get points across. So even if I'm feeling very vulnerable, or if I'm feeling like this is not what like a man should be speaking about, like if I feel like I'm being personally attacked, in the old me, like the drinking side of me would have been like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the bar, drink it out, and now I'm gonna think whatever I think. You know what I mean? So everything kind of like stays in your head a little bit. It kind of sits there. It lives rent free. And now, basically, what happens is that I would just basically tell you exactly how I feel, and then we'll have a Discord about it. And as long as we can settle everything amicably and have a civil Discord about it, then I'm okay with it. I can still shake your hand and we'll still be friends at the end of the day. And yeah, friends. I've lost so many friends, and coming into this sober journey, I didn't realize that people really only hit you up when they want to drink. And when you're a serial drinker like I was, you don't really register it. You know what I mean? Like, you'll always say, like, with your drinking buddies, like, oh yeah, I want to go do that, and you don't ever actually go do it unless it involves drinking. And now I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see my old friends as often, which I still love them to death, and whatever they're going through and whatever is going on in their life, I still support them just from far away now. But yeah, I can't even tell you, like, all the people that I don't even associate myself with or even talk to or catch up with anymore, just because of the fact that I stopped drinking and now they're gone. You know what I mean? Like, completely gone. They don't speak to me. Maybe, on socials they'll kind of check up on you, but that's really it. There's nothing else really maintaining that friendship. And once you realize that drinking was that core glue to your friendship, you're just kind of like, wow, that's all it took. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to life than catching up and complaining about things in your life and figuring out what's going on. Sorry, I kind of just like, whoa. But yeah, there's so much more to life than just like complaining about your week and getting blackout drunk. I used to get really blackout drunk, and I mean really blackout drunk. I would not remember what I did the next morning very often, which I don't like anymore at all. I used to like it because that was my way of kind of like saying, all right, like, I had a rough week, month, or I'm going through this situation specifically, so I feel like I need to, drink my sorrows away, basically. But yeah. Okay. Other things about sobriety. Dating is very hard. Everyone wants to drink. That's kind of like the icebreaker. And I don't even know how to explain. I'm not going to talk about dating, actually. But anyway, sober dating is not easy, especially when you're 30. Don't recommend it. I mean, a lot of things are different now with being sober, which is totally fine. There's nothing, I don't want to push anyone to say, hey, like, everyone needs to be sober. I don't think this is for everyone. I think some people actually need to drink because they're just so tense all the time, and there's no other way to actually do this. There's no other way to kind of like get through life without having that drink. And I'm going to drink again. So where do I go from here? What's my next step? So my original goal was to just be sober for 1 year and kind of buckle down in my life and figure everything out and just go through the motions. And the main goal is to just stay sober. Don't crack under any pressure. Do the 360 days or 65 days. I'm stupid. 365 days and just see what happens. And there's a lot of positive, like, so many things in my life right now are so much better. The people that are in my life are in my life with purpose, and I have like severe gratitude for them, and I love them in ways that I couldn't even explain. The people that are there for you, it's amazing. And I would do this 100% over and over and over again. I would stay sober for the rest of my life if I thought, if I didn't think that the final step is seeing how I actually deal with alcohol. Now, a lot of people would say, Alex, you had a problem with drinking. You had a drinking problem. And I would agree. I would say I did have a drinking problem. That being said, I'm the type of person to never really know how far you actually get with anything until you face it head on. It's kind of like when you took years away from like seeing that one ex that like just really did you wrong, and because time has gone by, you think everything's fine, but you don't really realize how you feel until you actually see them. And sometimes those feelings just come right back up. They don't actually disappear. They just kind of hibernate and they come back. That's how I feel about drinking. I feel like, at what point after this year am I going to face that demon head on and just actually, drink? So my plan currently is, and I talked to a friend of mine about this, is that, just drink on occasion. Very special occasions, which don't actually happen that much in my life, unfortunately. But yeah, so drinking on occasion, special occasions, not just occasions, special occasions, and kind of going from there. Because I don't think that you shouldn't drink in life. I just think that doing it in moderation and on special occasions and having complete control over it is the end goal. So, if I can wind down every few months or go to an event and have a glass of wine, that would be more than enough for me. And that should make me say, hey, this is good enough. And this is more than enough for you. Walk away. Now, when I get there next year, I'll let you know how that goes. But as of right now, that's kind of what my plan is. I don't think anyone that... I don't know. I don't know how to really explain it. I have to face that demon head on, and the only way to do it is to actually, drink. I do want to wait the year until it's over to really, gain full control of 90% of the things in my life before I, even decide that. But it's kind of like being on your phone too much. In this day and age, you're constantly on your phone. You're constantly checking stuff that you don't need to check. You're not being necessarily productive if you need to be productive. Some people don't have to be productive. I have never been more productive in my life until I got sober. So I've fallen into, doom scrolling. I'm sitting there in bed just scrolling for hours. And I'm like, it's 1 a.m. and I need to get some sleep. I've learned to prioritize sleep now. So anyone that's struggling to sleep, my only tip to that is, if you practice falling asleep, like if you pretend to fall asleep, you're going to pretend fall asleep, and if you pretend fall asleep, you're going to fall asleep. So if you just lay there and pretend like you're sleeping, eventually you're going to sleep. You know what I mean? That's my only advice for that. I know it's weird, but I have been like a night owl for the past, I don't know, since I was a kid. I've always been up all night, hate the mornings, stuff like that. But anyway, that's a side note. But yeah, so when I do return to drinking, and I will, and I'm going to be great at that too. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that doing it on occasion, maybe not doing hard liquor or whatever it is, I haven't decided yet, but I do think I need to face it eventually and just gain actual control of it, and not feel that pull. It's kind of like the dopamine feeling when you are doom scrolling, like you get that pull, like you need it, but you don't actually need it. That's kind of what this whole sobriety journey has taught me. So yeah, I just need to face it. When I do face it, I'll learn that I don't actually need it to do X, Y, and Z in my life, or to deal with X, Y, and Z in my life, or, But yeah, so this has been 230 days into my sobriety journey.